Welcome to Crimes and Mysteries. Today we bring you a case that mixes tragedy, conspiracy, and unanswered questions. On Christmas Eve 1945, a fire devastated the Sodder family home in West Virginia. 5 of the 10 children had mysteriously disappeared, and their bodies were never found. What happened that night? Could it have been an accident? A crime? Or something even darker? Let's explore all the clues, theories, and mysteries surrounding this fascinating case. Who were the Sodders? George and Jenny Sodder were Italian immigrants with a large, hard-working family of 10 children. They were well known in the community, but George had strong political views that created some enemies. He was an open and frequent critic of Mussolini, which led to tensions with other local Italians. But did George's political views contribute to what happened that fateful night? The 10 Sodder children were John Sodder, age 23, and Joe Sodder, age 21, who was serving in the army and was not home that night. Marion Sodder, 17 years old. George Jr. Sodder, age 16. Morris Sodder, age 14. Martha Sodder, age 12. Louis Sodder, age 9. Jenny Sodder, 8 years old. Betty Sodder, age 5. Sylvia Sodder, age 2. The Sodders' house was decorated for the holiday season. Jenny prepared a special dinner and the younger children were excited to open their presents. The parents, George and Jenny, and 9 of the 10 children were at home. One of the oldest sons, Joe, was serving in the army. After the celebrations, Jenny sent the younger children to bed. 5 of them went up to the attic, where their rooms were. George and Jenny also went to their room around 10 o'clock at night. How it all began: around 1 a.m., Jenny was woken up by a strange sound on the roof, like something falling or rolling. Moments later, she smelled smoke. Jenny discovered that the house was on fire. The origin of the fire appeared to be on the lower floor, near the fuse box or electric meter. George and Jenny quickly woke their children Marion, Sylvia, and 2 others who managed to escape the house. George tried to enter the attic to save the 5 children who were still there. Morris aged 14, Martha aged 12, Louis aged 9, Jenny aged 8 and Betty aged 5. However, the flames and smoke were too intense, blocking access. George looked for the ladder he usually used to climb to the attic, but it was gone. He tried to use his trucks to climb to the roof, but inexplicably, both vehicles did not work, despite having been in good condition the night before. Marion ran to a neighboring house to ask for help, having discovered that the phone at the Sodder house was not working. It was later found that the telephone wire had been intentionally cut. Fayetteville firefighters, operating with a chain call system, took 7 hours to reach the scene. When they arrived, there was nothing left to save. The house was completely destroyed. The house was searched superficially the following morning, but no evidence of the missing children's bodies was found in the rubble. Jenny noticed that even after the intense fire, some appliances and parts of the house's structure were intact. She questioned how the fire could have completely destroyed the children's bodies. In the previous weeks, George had noticed suspicious behavior. An insurance salesman threatened that the Sodder home would be destroyed because of George's public criticism of Mussolini. Another man was seen watching the house while driving a strange car. After the fire, George found an object in the backyard that appeared to be an incendiary grenade. This reinforced the theory that the fire was intentional. The night of the fire was marked by inexplicable events and failed attempts to save the children. The obstacles George encountered, the telephone wire being cut, and the absence of bodies in the rubble left many questions. Was it an accidental tragedy or the result of a meticulously executed plan? The initial investigation was rushed and full of flaws. Local authorities quickly concluded that the fire was caused by electrical problems, but George and Jenny disagreed. There were no traces of the children's bodies in the wreckage, which is highly unlikely in a normal fire. George and Jenny began to suspect that the fire was no accident. But if it wasn't, what happened to the children? After the fire, a series of mysterious events and clues raised suspicions. Jenny Sodder reported waking up the night of the fire to a sound like an object hitting the roof, followed by a loud bang. The next morning, George found an object in the backyard that appeared to be an incendiary grenade. Experts have suggested it could have been a device used to deliberately start the fire. The ladder that George often used for work around the house was always kept in a specific place, but on the night of the fire it was gone. Days later, it was found in a nearby ravine, raising suspicions of sabotage to prevent the rescue of the children. During the fire, George tried to call the fire department, but discovered that the phone was not working. It was later discovered that the telephone wire had been cut, suggesting that someone wanted to prevent communication. Report 1: a woman claimed to have seen the children in a car with out-of-state license plates the morning after the fire. Report 2: another witness claimed to have seen 5 children with a couple at a hotel in Charleston, West Virginia, about 50 miles from the fire site. In 1967, Jenny Sodder received a letter with a photograph of a man, accompanied by a cryptic message. Louis Sodder, love my brother, Frankie and Lil Boys A90132 or 35. The photograph appeared to show Louis Sodder, one of the missing sons, now as an adult. The family hired a private investigator to follow up on this lead, but the investigator mysteriously disappeared without a trace. George and Jenny created a sign along a busy road offering a reward for information about the missing children. Despite several clues over the years, none have led to conclusive answers. The Sodder brothers case has generated countless theories, both from the family and from independent researchers. Here are the main ones. Many believe the fire was intentional and that the children were abducted before or during the chaos. Possible motivations. Personal vendetta. George Sodder was known for openly and frequently criticizing Benito Mussolini, the Italian dictator. Some theorize that Mussolini's sympathizers in the community may have planned the fire in retaliation. Evidence that can help this theory is the non-existence of remains in the rubble, the sightings of children similar to Sodder's after the fire, the letter and photograph received years later, and all the obstacles the family faced the night of the fire in order not to rescue the children. Some argue that the fire may have been accidental and that the initial investigation was simply incompetent. Evidence to support this theory. Fire Chief F.J. Morris later admitted that he did not conduct a thorough search of the rubble. Conditions at the site were chaotic, with neighbors moving around freely, potentially contaminating the site. The counterpoints of the theory: even in an intense fire it is rare for bodies to be completely destroyed. The missing ladder. The wire of the telephone had been cut. The incendiary object found by George in the backyard of the house suggests more than a simple accident. This theory suggests that the children were taken by an organized group with local or even government support. Elements in favor of this theory. The failure of authorities to find concrete evidence and the speed with which the case was closed as accidental. The disappearance of the private investigator hired by the family after receiving the letter with the photograph. Some people suggest that the children were actually in the house and that the bodies were destroyed by the fire. Contradictory evidence. Forensic experts have indicated that even in an intense fire, parts of the bones and teeth should have survived. No biological evidence was found in the rubble. Each theory has points that make it plausible, but also gaps that leave it incomplete. The case remains a mystery, with pieces that never seem to fit together. George and Jenny dedicated the rest of their lives trying to solve the mystery. Despite their efforts, they never got any answers. Decades later, the mystery of the Sodder brothers continues to fascinate and intrigue. Exactly what do you think happened that night? Keep watching our videos for more mysteries. And remember, every mystery has a story, but not always an answer.